Hi, welcome to St. Mary's Parish. My name is Kevin. I'm the seminarian here, and on today's video, I'm going to show you how to serve. And the first thing about when you serve at Mass is to dress code. You want to dress for Mass, and you want to dress in such a way that A, it looks good with the alb, and B, it's not distracting. So, if possible, wear black pants and black shoes, and then come to the church about 15 minutes early. That gives you enough time to set up and get ready. And when you come to the church, the first thing you'll do is come to the sacristy door, and it's usually locked, so you have to knock on the door. Someone will let you in, and then you'll come into the sacristy, and the first thing you do is put on your alb and your cincture. The albs are in this closet here, and the alb should be a garment that goes to your shoe tops, so about the same length as my cassock, just right at the top of your shoes. And there's a few things to notice, and it's the Velcro. So you have one Velcro flap that goes underneath, and there's a little spot where it attaches. Another one goes over, and then there's one on the hip that Velcros there. So that's your alb. And then cinctures are over here. They're not always ordered properly, so you might have to try different cinctures. I always joke that we have every size cincture except the one that actually fits you. But to tie the cincture, you make basically what is a hitch knot. So you hold it like this, hold the ends in your hand, pull it around you, and then you take the loop, and just fold it back on itself, and then pull it through. So you have this little hitch, and then you pull it tight, like this. And then for our cinctures, we just put them on the side, and it should be about that length is fine. If it's a little bit too long, you can just keep wrapping it around until it's a good length. So that gives you your alb and your cincture. After you've put on your alb and your cincture, you come to light the candles. And the candle lighting equipment is in this cabinet, which is appropriately marked incense items and candle lighters. And in here, there will be a lighter, and it's a simple lighter. Like any barbecue lighter, press there, you have a trigger, and you get a flame. So here we have the taper. And to use this, it's rather simple. Hold the lighter, of course, and you light. And the key with this, the key with this is if the flame's too big, you pull right here on the wax taper, and it'll go down. If you want more flame, you just push it out. So if you find yourself with a flame that's massive, don't panic. Don't light anything on fire. All you do is just pull this back. So you're gonna light a series of 12 candles. So you can start anywhere you like, but here at the ambo, you light these two. And then you will proceed to light the 6 candles at the altar, which I've already lit, and then the 4 candles by the tabernacle. And then you simply extinguish the taper. One thing that when you extinguish the taper, you simply pull it down till the flame goes out, but make sure then you push the wax back out. If you leave it tucked down in there, then when the wax will harden and it'll get stuck. So you just pull it to extinguish and then push it back out. And now your candles are lit, you have your alb and your cincture on, and you go back to the sacristy and you wait for Mass to begin. So you'll come back here and wait in the sacristy, and the priests will be on the other side. They're vesting, they're getting ready for Mass. So it's important that you sit here quietly, don't disrupt them. If they come and talk to you, obviously you can talk to them, but don't make a whole lot of noise on your own. Also, don't be on your phone. Start to prepare yourself for Mass. When the priests come over, they'll come over here and they'll lead us in prayer. At which point, after the prayer, one server will grab the cross. And then if we have 2 other servers, they will grab the candles, the torches. If someone's doing incense, they'll grab incense. For this practice Mass, we're just going to have someone grab the cross. So you grab the cross, then you proceed out this door. And you walk to the back of church. So before Mass, we stand back here and wait. And one of the key things is people are coming in through these doors and coming into Mass. So we don't want to stand right here so people can actually get into the church. So if you just stand off to the side, that's good. When it's time, Monsignor or Father Lynn will tell you to line up. and you line up. If there's incense, the incense goes first. If there is not incense, then the next thing is the cross. And then all the servers just line up behind the cross or the incense. If you're carrying something, obviously you carry something. If you're not carrying something, then just hands together. There's a rule of thumb that I was told the first time I ever served in seminary, and it was when in doubt, look devout. And this looks devout. So hands together. You're going to start when the people start singing. Usually we have an entrance antiphon and then a hymn. During Lent, we just have an entrance antiphon. So what will happen is you'll hear the organ start, usually with the prelude, and then the cantor will start chanting. You wait until the people start singing. When the people start singing, we walk in. And you want to walk in at, I think, a normal pace. Not too fast, not too slow. The cross goes first. If you're following the cross, you want about 2 pew distance between you and the cross. So imagine the people are singing, our server goes ahead and starts walking. If you're second in line, you wait till he gets 2 pews in front of you, and then you start walking. And you just keep that distance. So when you come up to the altar, when you get to here, you do one of 2 things. If you're carrying something, you simply bow your head. If you are not carrying something, then you genuflect on one knee. So our first server will come, he will come up, bow his head, and then he will go to his right. Other servers will come up. If they're not carrying something, genuflect, and they will go to their right as well. Now, if you're carrying the cross, then you will put the cross on the other side of the doors in the sacristy. If you are not carrying the cross, you simply come to your chair and stand and wait. So then Mass will begin. The priest comes up, he reverences the altar, and begins with the sign of the cross. At this point, as a server, you just stand over here, pray, participate. During Lent and during Advent, we don't sing the Gloria. Otherwise, we'll sing the Gloria. The priest has the opening collect. When everyone sits down, you as a server sit down as well. We'll have the first reading. During the first reading, listen to the first reading. Then we have the psalm. During the psalm, listen, sing. Second reading, then the gospel. Everyone stands during the gospel. The deacon or the priest will go read the gospel. He'll give their homily, listen intently during the homily, of course. And after the homily then, the priest or the deacon will come back here and he'll do what's called universal prayers. They usually have a binder. Everyone's standing at this point. Priest goes through the universal prayers. And after the universal prayer, everyone sits down and now we go to work. When the people sit down, the server turns to his right, comes back here, goes through these doors, and he'll go all the way around to the other side. So we continue to the other side of the sacristy, to the credence table, for the preparation of the altar. So here we have our credence table, and the very first thing you always want to take is the chalice. And just to be aware, the chalice has multiple things upon it, so make sure you have a nice stable grip. Chalice goes first. You will take it out to the priest. Priest will receive the chalice. You bow to the priest, and then you go back. The next thing you'll want to take is called the ciborium. It is the golden bowl. You may have to stand there for a moment as the priest prepares the altar. When he is ready, he will take it. Once again, you bow. Next, you want to grab the water and the wine. There's a little detail here that makes serving a little bit easier. Notice how he's holding the water and the wine. He's holding them handles out. This is so that when you bring them up to the priest or the deacon, he has a nice handle to grab onto. He'll place the wine. He'll hand it back to you. You hand him the water. He will say a little prayer here. And then you will go back. When you go back to the credence table, you will put the wine down. You will grab the towel and a glass bowl, which is called the lavabo bowl. If there's two servers, one can carry the bowl and one can carry the water, and the other server can carry the towel. If you're serving by yourself, then you can just take the towel, wrap it over your left arm, and you'll have the water. So what'll happen is the priest will be here, he'll be praying, he will bow, he will turn to you, and you approach him. He will put his fingers together, and you will pour water upon his fingers until the priest simply lifts his fingers up. That is the universal sign that I've seen every priest use that means stop pouring water. So he'll pour water, he lifts his fingers, you stop, he will wipe his hands. Once again, he'll bow to you, and then you go back to the credence table. After you've put the lavabo bowl, the towel, and the water back, you come back to this step. And now we begin the Eucharistic prayer. Priest will begin the prayer. You respond when it's time to respond. We'll sing the Holy, 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 or the Sanctus. Sing the Sanctus. When all the people kneel, then you will kneel as well. And you can kneel right on the first step. And if there's more servers, you just kneel right here. The server that is nearest the bells is the one that will ring the bells. And you ring the bells at 3 different points in the Eucharistic prayer. The first time you ring them is during the epiclesis. Every sacrament has a calling down of the Holy Spirit. It's called the epiclesis. So what you can look for on the epiclesis is the priest will make 2 motions. First, the priest or the deacon will remove the pall, and then he is going to put his hands out, and you ring the bells. And you ring the bells just once for about half a second, exactly as you heard. The second and third time that you ring the bells is during the elevation. So the priest is going to take the host in his hands. He's going to say the words of consecration, take this, all of you, and eat of it, for this is my body, which will be given up for you. And then he's going to lift up the host. When you see him start to lift up the host, you ring the bells 3 times. The priest then will take the chalice. He will say again the words of consecration, take this, all of you, and drink from it, for this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in memory of me. And then he's going to lift up the chalice. So the 3 times you ring the bells, the epiclesis, when you see the hands, the elevation of the host, and the elevation of the chalice. In case you haven't rung the bells before, you'll notice that the bell is rather small, but you grab the handle, and then you simply shake. So you come back to your seat. You may have time to sit down, depending on how long the priest prays after communion. When the priest stands back up, you stand up, all the people stand up. The priest will proceed to the altar. He will do the prayer after communion. He will give the final blessing. And then he will begin to say the St. Michael prayer. When we are saying, O Prince of the Heavenly Hosts, which is towards the end of the St. Michael prayer, you will turn and go get the cross, or you will get the candles if you carried the candles in. If you didn't carry anything in, then you simply remain at your seat. But what you carry in, you also carry out. And you can come, the cross can come and just wait right here. The final hymn will begin. When the priest moves to venerate the altar, the cross will go first. All the other servers will follow in behind him. And we process out the same way we came in. So the first server will go a couple rows. The key, if you have the cross here, is to make sure you leave enough space. And if people are starting to get crowded and you need to create more space, you just take a step back, easy. But you stand here, there'll be a row of servers, there'll be the priest and the deacon. And it's the same thing. If you're carrying something, you bow your head. If you're not carrying something, you genuflect. When you turn, if you're all by yourself in a row, then you turn over your right shoulder. If you're standing side by side with the server, both of you turn inward. It seems like a minor detail, but it looks a lot crisper. So we'll pretend that we're just in our own single file. Genuflect, he bows his head, turns to the right. Cross leads the way, and you process in at the same pace. So you process all the way to the back. The cross will stand and wait here. The other servers will flank the cross. The priest will come back. He will bow and he will say, proceed. And the servers respond, pro omnibus et singulis. So he comes, proceed.
Pro omnibus et singulis.
And basically what that means, proceed means may it benefit or may it be beneficial. And pro omnibus et singulis means for everyone and each one. So it means may the Mass benefit everyone. After that, the Mass is done. You proceed out to your left and go back up. You go back to the sacristy. You can put the candles back, the cross back. One person should then grab the snuffer and extinguish the candles. Then you take your alb and cincture off and you are done. And thank you for serving at Mass.